This is only the second time I've been inconvenienced, so that's not bad.
Okay, that's not bad. Awesome. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a nice 5-6 weeks off. It was really great not to be in this room for that period of time, but it was also nice to be in touch with some of you along the way. We'll begin our meeting tonight by introducing ourselves, starting over here with Diane.
Diane Potter,
Molly Rogers.
Linda Caputo.
Alyssa Tracy. Becky Fless.
Tony Pete.
Jack Pitteroff.
Sean Cook.
Joanne O'Brien.
Matt Lillibirch.
Administrative staff.
Pat Hopkins, Superintendent.
Dave Dostey, Director of Facilities and Maintenance. Is that right?
Facilities Director.
Facilities Director.
Yeah.
Okay.
and Terry McGuire, Director of Technology.
So he's Director of Facilities.
Yeah.
Facilities.
Facilities.
That's
Still
what we
trying to
called
get
it.
used to
Yeah.
it.
Hey, you can use as many words. I just-
Facilities is good.
Facilities is good. Okay, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. No? Before we begin public comment, we're about to enter, to convene into the public comment period of our meeting. State law in Maine requires public comment items on the agenda or not on the agenda of a full meeting of the school board. We also believe it's crucial for us to hear from our community members about their concerns and issues, and are so pleased to have this as an agenda item. Having said that, please note that the board is here to listen. The public comment period is not designed to be a discussion or a conversation. Accordingly, please do not expect the board to respond to your concerns and questions tonight. This is because we take your concerns and questions seriously and want to have sufficient time to process and research issues if need be. We will, if appropriate, respond to your question and concerns at a future meeting or have the proper staff member get back to you at the appropriate time. I also want to point out that under state and federal privacy laws, we are unable to entertain any comments or questions about school personnel or students. Please know, however, that we take personnel and student concerns very seriously. On these matters, we would ask you to go through the appropriate administrative channels. Finally, we recognize that right now our nation and our community are polarized in a number of issues. That said, we want our school board meetings to serve as an example to our students that members of our school board and members of our community can deal with controversial issues in a civil manner and demonstrate mutual respect for one another. In that spirit, we will insist that all speakers and members of the audience maintain civility and respect for any divergent views that others possess. We ask that speakers please address their comments to the board directly rather than to the audience. Speakers may address items pertinent to tonight's meeting agenda or any topic dealing with school or education matters. In the unlikely event that the meeting becomes unruly, the board will recess the meeting and return once order has been restored. Finally, I want to remind everyone that you may submit written comments to the board in lieu of speaking during the public comment period if you so choose. The board will now entertain public comments for 15 minutes. Each individual speaker is allotted 2 minutes. The individual time limits will be enforced so that as many members of the public who wish to speak may be allowed to do so. Who will be the timekeeper? You like me to?
Oh.
I would love for you to be. Okay. Thank you. So, is anyone here for public comment? I'd like for you, yep, sign in and tell us where you're from and if you have children within this community that you're speaking for.
don't believe I have to disclose if I have children in the community, correct?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question.
He doesn't believe he needs to disclose whether or not he has children in the
That
community.
is true.
Where do you live within the district? I guess that's what we typically do. What community do you reside in?
Thank you for your time tonight.
No.
Good evening, Chairman Flesh, all RSU 40 board directors. My name is Alan Sarvinas, and I represent Parents' Rights in Education, as well as many parents in your district and across the state. They have asked me to come here tonight to follow up on a promise the board made about discussing policy AA after the last time it was spoke about in board policy. I'm reluctant to go back to them and to say they discussed it in policy, if that's what the last policy committee was used for. The key sections of the policy that I've reviewed with them that we have discussed with other boards and have found compromise are all and any plan documentation to all and any plans documented to protect parents' rights under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. Parents' fundamental right of notification so they may guide the upbringing of their child. Maintaining the practice of mandatory reporting if parents are deemed unfit. So if parents are deemed unfit, then you use mandatory reporting process, not create a gray area. To make clear that there's no statutory protection for any district employee to withhold information from parents, except school counselors and social workers. This is a specific statute to provide them with the authority due to their training, which none of the employees in the district have from the main board of licensing. Making sure it's aligned with the district policy, GBEBB, staff
10
conduct with
seconds.
students, which contradicts any employee having a personal relationship or keeping secrets. And lastly, we urge all correspondence with district attorneys made public to maintain transparency with the public. And I appreciate your time.
And we're MSAD11, not RSU 40.
Sorry about that.
What organization were you representing?
Parents' Rights in Education.
Parents' Rights of Education.
In education.
Education.
Thank you. That's a main thing.
No, it should be.
This is the main chapter. Thanks.
My name is Mike Soboleski. I'm a state representative representing the 73rd District in the Western Mountains. I was here in February, I believe it was, and talked to you about your transgender bathroom and locker room policy, urging you to rescind that policy, advising you that you were in violation of state law. You are not just following the law, man. This is a letter from Steve Smith, Trial Lawyers, 191 Water Street, Augusta. You asked to research the legality of allowing biological males to use biological females' restrooms and vice versa. Specifically, you asked me to address whether the statement that allowing biological males to use biological females' restroom is settled law. For the reasons noted below, I conclude that such practices are likely unconstitutional and violate the fundamental constitutional right to privacy held by all students to be free from intermittent exposure to the opposite sex. Furthermore, only when the United States Supreme Court addresses this issue will it become settled law. Maine law requires, in relevant part, that Maine schools provide sanitary facilities that are separate according to sex and accessible only by separate entrances and exits. The legislature is very clear on that. It is Title 20A, Section 6501. You are bullying these students 295 signatures on this original petition state they do not want to do this. And you're forcing girls to allow boys in the bathroom while they're in there doing their business. That's violation of the state law. And I asked you before to please reconsider your actions. You haven't done it. Bullying in this school district, according to your bullying flow chart, is a criminal offense. You're bullying these children. You're forcing them to do something they're not comfortable doing. And it's unacceptable. So we're gonna take this to the next level. I told you what was gonna happen last time. It was the Attorney General. We've decided to go past that point, and we're gonna see if it's settled law. Your attorneys, Drum and Woodson, are giving you some very, very bad advice. You to them are a cash cow. That's all you are. They're concerned with billable hours and forcing you into a fight with someone.
You're done
That's
now.
what they're
Thank
doing.
you very much.
You're forcing
You are
into a
all
fight
done.
now.
You're
And that's
done.
what you're doing. And that's what they're doing.
You're done.
And you're gonna have one very, very soon. So please.
Thank you for your opinion, and you're done.
I have to say, make sure you pay attention.
You're done.
I hear what you're saying.
So
But
go.
you need to listen to what I have to
So
say,
I did,
okay?
and you need to
You're in
respect.
violation of state
You know
law.
what?
Prevented
Get
you
it?
in violation of our policies.
Why
Yeah.
don't we
Shut down the meeting.
You're in
Pause the
violation
meeting.
of state law.
Shut down the
Don't
meeting.
shut it down, pause it. We'll just take a break.
Okay?
Don't
you.
threaten
Just
me.
take a break.
I didn't threaten you. I just told you you're in
Just stop.
violation
We're
of
gonna
state law.
pause.
You
All right, why don't you take 5 minutes? We'll return at 6:55.
Thank you.
back in session.
Thank you, and thank you for allowing us to have a pause for 5 or so minutes. I thought that what I read was very clear about being respectful during public comment, and someone who just will not abide by what I've asked for is disrespectful. And in the future, should this happen again, we will just pause the meeting and not even go, I will not use the gavel. I've never used the gavel in the 20+ years that I've been on the board. So if there's not common and mutual respect, that causes an issue. Not going to be a board that does that. That's not going to happen here. And so in the future, Terry, I will just ask for you, when it goes over the 2 minutes, to just cut the meeting and we'll take a pause and let it burn itself out and then go. So that's how it will be managed in the future. So moving on to our agenda, review and approval of the agenda minutes, prioritization of items and alteration of the established agenda format sequence as needed.
Yes, we have some revisions.
Yes,
So
we do.
we already posted one revision that went out. Those items were in red. Since then,
Yikes.
today, we have another ed tech who has been hired as the multilingual learner. I am terrible with pronunciation, so I'm not sure how to pronounce Madua. Giroux. So yeah, I don't want to butcher it and be disrespectful. That's not my intent. We're really excited about her. She has great background experience.
Very cool.
And so we're really excited about hiring her. Taryn Grant will be the PLCSS. That is our certification steering committee. And so she's going to represent Laura E. Richards. I interviewed today and bring forward to you Danielle Sylvia as the English language teacher for grade 7 in Gardner Regional Middle School. I did also interview today a video production teacher. However, that is not yet solidified, so I do not have a name for board members who see that written on your draft.
So we should have our
Cross
fingers
that out.
crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, we can do that.
And that is it. That's above and beyond the changes in red.
Okay, so motion to approve the agenda as altered. So moved. So moved and seconded by Matt. All those in favor? Excellent, thank you. Let's see, approval of minutes of previous board meetings, special board meeting of June 13th, 2024. And that would be where we accepted the results of the referendum. Motion to approve. So Matt, approve.
Sure.
Jack, second. Questions or comments or memory jars? All those in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. All righty, correspondence.
As written.
Been a lot of it.
That's the question. Did, the law teacher position, was that just that position, not the coaching position?
Correct.
Okay.
Good question. I was wondering the same thing earlier today. Excellent. Okay. Committee reports. Had none. Excellent. Hoke Field Committee
We're meeting next week, however,
on site.
on site. The bricks are on the wall. Yeah, so some of you may have seen photos on Facebook, pictures, and so we'll have a meeting next week to make sure that that's all finalized and discuss whether there's an opportunity for those who didn't buy bricks in the past, if they want to buy a brick, whether we can accommodate that or not. And we're also looking at a little bit of landscaping, make it look a little bit more pleasing.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that will be next week. So we're really excited. I mean, this has been in the works for, I don't remember how many years, and to finally have it come to fruition, to finalize it. So we'll be able to remove this ad hoc committee from your agenda.
I think we've stretched the term ad hoc
Yes, we
as far as
have.
we might have possibly been able to do that.
Yeah, we
It's
have.
kind of blossoming into something else.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we're all happy, but it's time to let it go. Excellent. General information.
Again,
As
as written,
written.
you can see we've been very busy.
Look at all
with
this.
staff transfers, with new hires for ed tech positions. And under my report, I will give you an update on positions that remain open and just give you a little additional background information.
Here, this is great.
Yeah, it's great. We've been really busy.
Well, like, it's great that it's great that people want to be here because here they are.
Right.
Yes. And then they are more. Excellent.
Question about the nomination fee. Was this person nominated, had we originally had them as a special ed teacher at the autism program and then
We hired
as grade 3?
hired as special ed,
Mhm.
grade 3 position opened. That was a preference and asked to be transferred into that position.
Okay.
So then we have a special ed opening.
Correct.
Any prospects?
We'll talk about openings later.
In your,
Yeah.
yeah, gotcha.
Just a,
Yes.
a quick question on the general information. So, Chad Strout, Assistant Athletic Department, is that?
Yeah, or assistant athletic director, I had the same question, yeah.
It should be director.
Director, yeah. So he'll back Nate.
Yes, when there are multiple games.
Yep.
Right, Nate can only be in one place at a time, or if Nate has to be in an away game, he might be here.
Yeah,
And so to help provide that coverage.
So is this a new employee to the district?
No, Chad is a teacher of ours.
Okay.
The social studies.
Yes, social studies
Oh,
teacher at the high
okay.
school.
Oh, great, okay.
Additional duties.
Yes, we did it through the
Yes.
budget development process. We already paid to have people cover the position.
Oh, okay.
So this actually may save us money in the long run by just giving someone a stipend to do it.
That makes sense. Excellent.
Quick question, the inclusion specialist, that was, in the list to begin with, and it's an administrative position?
What you're thinking about is during the budget process, we talked about an IEP coordinator.
Right.
IEP coordinator requires that they have a certain certification. So to be creative, we've hired inclusion specialists who do something very similar. If they have an administrator stipend, if they have an administrator certificate, we will then give them an additional stipend so that they can do work very similar to the IEP coordinator. It just doesn't require the same certification. People are getting creative to find people and to be able to do the work, so
They're not coming out of the woodwork.
they're not.
All right. Nominations.
As written, we have Michaela Lothrop as inclusion specialist at the high school, Taylor Abbott as grade 3 at Riverview, Allison George as a biology teacher at the high school, James Pease as a social worker at the high school, Jody Bennett, grade 6 at the middle school ELA, Emily Byrne, kindergarten teacher at LER, Sandy Brand, who would be third grade teacher at Pittston Randolph, Danielle Sylvia, which will be grade 7 at the middle school teaching English language arts. And then we have the administrative stipends that you have, like Angela Hardy, who gets 5% of her salary to fill in for me when I'm not available. So she's the assistant superintendent. You have Terry McGuire, who's the affirmative action officer / Title 9, and that is like a $4,000 stipend. Terry, who also does this, is a $5,000 stipend. Then you have Christina Fiera, who is the McKinney-Vento liaison. That is for homeless, our homeless population. I think that's around 4,000. And then Sarah Boldick-Ignaziak will do the multilingual learners. And that's also somewhere around $4,000 stipend. So I would recommend all of these individuals.
Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to move forward nominations as written.
Second, Matt?
Was it
Questions?
Matt or Jack?
Matt, put his fingers up.
Okay.
I went with the fingers.
I think Molly had a question. I think Molly had a
An easier
question.
straight shot.
Do you have a video? I was just. someone
Correct, I
told-
crossed off.
No, we're not on video.
We're not on video?
Yeah. I'm just saying they're not seeing it. I was just contacted. That's why I'm.
You're saying we're not?
Just letting you know that, sorry
Yeah.
to distract, but.
Okay, so
Motion is
we'll do okay, all those in favor? Motion carries and we'll pause so that Terry can
Check it out.
check out, see what's happening.
She has been struggling with the internet connection tonight, so we had to pause a couple times in
I wonder if it's
policy.
weather related?
It says break.
It says break. It says break, would you?
Did you play on, did you push play?
I'm not watching.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Jeez, Molly. We're
Our
going.
audio is live though, so I mean, I feel like we.
I think we can still continue.
So they can hear us,
They can
they just
still
can't
hear.
see us?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
we can
all right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know.
Okay, we'll continue. Thank you for that. And if anything changes that they can't no, let us know. We're live. That's what that's where our integrity lies.
Saying the video is working from someone else.
Okay,
so.
good.
Okay, great. Thank you. New business.
Great, new business, consideration to start an early act club. So in your folder, I included a communication that came from Leanne Chadbourne, and we're fortunate to have Leanne with us tonight. Leanne is a teacher, kindergarten teacher at Laura E. Richards School. She's also a very active member of Rotary. And so she is here tonight to propose the creation of an early act, or it can sometimes be referred to as Kinder Act, right, program that really helps instill community connections, giving back to your community, and it would be tied to our local Rotary. So Leanne, do you want to come up and kind of speak to it? And I did share in their packets, they should have a copy of your email so that they have a chance to read that.
So I'm Leanne Chadbourne, I'm a kindergarten teacher at LER. Melissa Winchester, who is our social worker in our building, is also a member of Rotary. And her and I have been working together to kind of figure out how we can get more kids involved in our community. So we thought, being Rotarians, watching how successful the Interact Club was, we started brainstorming some early act ideas. We had heard of Kinder Act when I was in Farmington. I worked in a kindergarten classroom working with Kinder Act through their Rotary, and they've now expanded it to an early act so that it includes all kids in the elementary schools. So we're looking to start in the LER in Riverview School with pre-K through 5th grade, running our meetings at the same time as the PTA meetings, because we've had a lot of parents who are not involved in the PTA say it's because they don't have anywhere for their kids to be during that time. So giving them a place where they can learn about their community, be involved in their community, while their parents are also doing something to help serve our schools and be part of our community. We've got a lot of support from Miranda Soto and her Interact Club, asking us to partner with them for the food drive and for Christmas Family Project and May Day baskets for the community are some of the ideas we have on the table right now. But we really just want it to be open to all the kids pre-K to 5th grade in our district, particularly looking at LER and Riverview right now and building on that.
It also intersects really, really well with your strategic plan, right? Building community connections. So it fits in there very nicely.
We have a lot of support from Gardner Rotary right now. It is our 100th year, and our president for this year has already made us like a line item in the budget. So budget-wise, we're good. We're working on getting some grants through Rotary International right now for an international project as well. So I think from that point, we just really need support from the board because unlike Interact, Early Act is not a Rotary sanctioned club yet. While it's very much supported by our Rotary, we don't fall under their insurance or their liability. So that's why we're coming to the board hoping to get your support.
So would this follow our 2-year for
It would
success?
need to in terms of stipend. Right, and
Yep.
funding, but as Leanne said, our local Rotary is providing a lot of the funding.
Right.
So the cost to the district in the future may be minimal, if anything.
But I just want to make sure that because she's doing something so great, we follow our rules so that you can have a stipend if it becomes something that is burdensome in any way, so.
So, will insurance then actually cover this or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as it is school district endorsed and approved, it falls under our liability insurance.
I just have a question. I just wrote down because you mentioned GEPTA, so I happen to run the PTA for Pittston. So would you be interested in having folks come maybe at the time of the meeting to get more kids involved, or you still want to just keep it to one school for now?
We haven't talked a lot about that yet. I think we're
Okay.
kind of waiting to see what the numbers look like because it would have to be run out of my classroom. So it doesn't give us a huge space, but we do have Rotarians who are very much pushing for us to start it at Pittston and West Gardner as well. I think this year we're kind of piloting it at LER and Riverview, seeing how it goes, working out the kinks, and then hoping to push it out into the other elementary schools as time shows us what's working and what's not.
Very good. My daughter's also the vice president of Interact, so I'm sure she'll participate and help you
That will be
connect the dots. Yeah, excellent.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to have it district-wide.
Yeah.
I'm from West Gardner. I live in West Gardner. My daughter will be at school in West Gardner. I don't want to bite off more than I can
Yeah,
chew
you're
and
smart.
this become unsuccessful because we
Yeah.
didn't take the time to learn about it and do it the right way.
That's excellent.
Excellent.
If numbers are low, can it expand to invite the others? You know, I can't imagine that's the
Possibly.
case, but
Right. Yeah.
you know.
Yes, that's our hope.
So maybe even if numbers would permit, maybe at the holiday break, we could consider moving going bigger if.
You get 3 months to work out the kids.
Right, I mean, if you get 4 kids, then you're going to want to include, so.
Absolutely.
There are not gonna be any kinks. We're a kink-free district.
Then I'll put forth a motion that we consider and approve the consideration of the Early Act Club.
So motion by Alyssa, second by Tony. I heard it in my
I heard
ear.
lots of seconds.
All the seconds.
All the seconds, seconded by the entire board.
Yeah.
All those in favor? Anything for kids. I just think this is so great for all the kids, so.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And thank you.
thank
Really
you so
appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you for being
And you should
willing.
feel free to
Yeah.
just stay here the rest of the evening.
I've got little kids that-
I know, this is your moment off.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming,
Thank
Leanne.
you.
Great to see you.
You too.
All right, update on summer facilities repair.
Yeah, so I thought you might like to know all that's going on with our
So good to
facilities.
see you, Gabe.
So Gabe, what's going on? Maybe pick a building
Yeah,
and
so
then
I was
kind of
just
go
gonna kind
around.
of start and, I'll work school to school. But just kind of a overview, there's been a lot of architects in, engineers in, so almost daily I'm with either an architect, an engineer, contractor in one of the buildings somewhere. The WBRC that's doing the facility audit, they just finished up their portion actually yesterday. Was the last day, so their in-building work is done. They're just compiling a couple more things and me and Pat should have hopefully the report next week. So we have till the end of the month to do the new school applications, so it's crunch time now for me to start on all those, and Pat has some sections she'll have to do, so.
So there's 6
Summer-
applications.
Summer is never long enough,
Yeah.
no matter
Through
what.
the end of this month.
End of
And-
August, huh?
Yeah, so we have to
Wow.
have it done.
Wow.
So it's crazy.
WBRC, that's not the efficiency.
No.
Right.
This
That's-
is.
That's
Okay,
EMC,
thank you.
right.
Right, and on to EMC, I meet with them next Tuesday, and hopefully they will finalize their walkthroughs Tuesday, Wednesday.
It's going upstairs.
That's the hope, that's the finalized piece for them. Then again, they.
Can we pause
keep working-
again?
Yep.
Terry? Terry? Gabe, can you go back to where you were?
So back to EMC, next Tuesday I meet with them. We do kind of an overview of everything. They're hoping to finalize their walkthroughs, Tuesday, Wednesday. All they will have left is, bringing in SW Cole Engineering to look at the high school in front to do some moisture testing in the ground, on the floor, as part of their review. So hopefully that information will be complete. The high school, if anybody's driven by, we've already had one section of roof repaired at the high school. Genie Roofing right now is set up to do C-wing, another portion of the roof. Next couple weeks, that'll be done, and then they'll jump on the last section of roof to be done this summer, which is over the guidance and library section. So that'll be the last piece for this summer for them to do. So we've done a lot of roofing over at the high school. So that'll be complete. Floors are, all the classrooms are pretty much done. Rooms are all being moved back in at the high school. They're working on the main office the rest of this week and into next. And then it would just be some hallways. Thank goodness we did a lot of flooring last year. That's helped us actually to be about a week and a half ahead on flooring. So been able to paint out a ton of classrooms. So that's been a huge piece over there, which has been nice to be able to do a lot of touch up, a lot of painting. It's been nice. Still, everybody wants to get back into their rooms already. So we constantly, we're like, no, you can't get to that section, or your room's not moved back in. Elementary, it's the same way. Everybody, they want to get in, and we're trying to get as much done as quickly as possible. But again, summer is never long enough. Never is. Middle school, bathrooms, the petitions for the 4 bathrooms, they just finalized them today. All that needs to be done is a little bit of trim work around the partitions. And then we need to do some trim work where we cut down a concrete wall section in each of the bathrooms. So we need to trim those out. We're replacing ceiling tiles, which wasn't an original, in the original plan. But when we took the ceiling tiles out, they're in such bad shape. I'm pretty positive the same ceiling tiles from the 70s. So we're putting new ceiling tiles in.
Yeah.
They were terrible. So new ceiling tiles. The last piece that'll be done in there is getting the lighting all finished up, making sure that motion sensors all work. The stalls, when you walk in, they're front and center. They're big because they're tall. They're almost 9 feet tall. They look nice. They do. They're great. Yep.
Accomplish the goal.
Yep. So they do look good. Other things at the middle school, the lighting project, which EMC got started for us. I do the contractor walkthrough next Thursday with them. That is through the federal money that we had. So that ends September 30th. We will be completing it September 30th, but that does mean that they will be doing the project second shift. So their contractors will be coming in around 3 p.m. and they work 10-hour days. So they'll be there from 3 to 1-ish in the morning. So part of the process next week is going through with EMC and the contractor just to verify how that whole process will be working, to make sure teachers that are in those classrooms during the day, when they come in the next morning, that they're not walking into a construction zone in their classroom, that everything will be picked up. So it's, I just want to make sure, so there's a whole checkoff list I was given to make sure we go through all those little points.
You have to have someone with them on site when they're here overnight?
We don't. I asked that of
Okay.
them. I don't need to have somebody there. They said some school districts, they run almost like a third shift. So there's always somebody in the building. But I feel we'll be all set. We will. It's not plumbing.
Right, I was gonna say, it's like lighting,
Plumbing
it's
is
not, yeah,
always the worry. That
seriously.
If there's a broken pipe, this isn't plumbing. it's
Yeah.
electrical.
Right.
I mean, yes,
Yeah.
if we came in the next morning, there's no power, that's an issue, but
Yeah,
at least we can troubleshoot and get that going.
right.
That makes
Plumbing's a
sense.
different thing, so it's
Yeah.
not plumbing.
Whether any students can have club activities after school or anything?
They may have to shift them around.
Yeah, so they're looking at, the first phase would be second floor, second phase would be the first floor, which actually has the most lighting. And then the last phase would be the basement sections, boiler rooms, the little closets, offices, those sort of pieces, so to kind of wrap up. And that way, if things ran over, hopefully, we have a week and a half buffer on the schedule that I was shown, so
Oh, that's good.
I'm hoping there's no issues.
Yeah.
But we'll get it done. They promised me it'd be done by September 30th.
Did we have any new damage with all the storms in the high school with the sections of the roof that hadn't been worked on yet?
We've had a couple little leaks here and there, but nothing that has been any major damage. Just a couple roof drips, ceiling tiles, those little things. But we've been able to see it once the crew came in, and we cleaned it up, called Genie Roofing, they came and did another patch. So we've had a couple little things here and there, but nothing major. Yep.
I think this was a federal money thing, the asbestos abatement, that was
the flooring last year.
okay, so we got it all done, I thought.
It's at the high school, it's all
Yeah, I
done.
thought the cafeteria was left over or something like that.
No, the hallway, cafeteria, it's
Yep,
all,
that's all the
yeah.
halls are done,
Yeah.
cafeteria, little gym.
Yep.
All those areas were finalized and completed. Yep, so
How often do classrooms get painted?
it varies.
It's not like a,
It's not on a steady rotation. When all the classes are pulled out, especially at the high school, everything's pulled out into the hallways, and we kind of look and assess and see if it needs just a touch up or it needs complete painting. Like I said, it's been at least 6 full classrooms have been painted out, a lot of office spaces. We ended up, we were able to bring in Jordan Herson to do a lot of painting. We were short-staffed at the high school, so we were able to bring him on, and he was more than happy to grab a paintbrush and a roller and paint. So that's pretty much been his thing, painting, ceiling tile replacements, lighting, just doing a lot of things that a lot of times we tend to not quite get to everything at the end of summer. So he's been able to kind of push through that. So it's worked out great.
the method to my madness is I want people to understand just how much work this is. You don't just get to go into a classroom and roll the paint. You gotta move everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we
That's
pull
a
everything
ton of
out, all the desks are wiped down, chairs are wiped
Yeah.
down, all the walls are wiped down. And then they go in and they either deep scrub, depending on the year.
Yeah.
Some it's off and on years, deep scrubbed, stripped, new floor finish.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it, there is. In the high school, we're 120,000 square feet. It's a big building.
It's a big house.
Yeah, it's a big building. Yeah, so it's a lot to do.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, so like I said, the crews have been doing really good this summer. We've had some high humidity, so it's been kind of a struggle here and there with floor finish. But they're doing really good. I feel they're ahead of where they normally are for the summer. So it's good.
Awesome.
LER, First Elementary School, start with that one there. If you walk in, they're doing tons of painting. The whole main hallway is all being completely painted out. A lot of classroom touch-ups, painting. And there we are doing classroom floors. So new carpet in the two pre-K classrooms, new carpet, new quartz tile. We're also doing the admin hallway up to the pre-K rooms, new flooring in that section. The art room, that's a room that's been converted into the art room. That will be new quartz tile in that room too. So that will be started next week also. So a lot of projects of materials have just arrived in, so they're all being started next week.
Wow.
To be finished. Like it's tight, but we'll get them all done. The other piece, Riverview, gym floor, that is completely ripped out. So the gym floor is all done. We pulled the bleachers out the other day. So they just stripped it all, they just put the new rubber flooring down. They are hoping to get the main coat on the gym floor. And they'll only have painting of lines left to do for next week. So after next week, it just has to sit for a week and then then I can move bleachers back. So it's a brand new floor. And that's been years, that's been on the list.
Years.
And years.
Any surprises behind the bleachers?
Just.
What do you?
Trash and dust and
Lost and found.
lost and found,
Cocoa
right?
Puffs, Cocoa Puffs.
Cocoa Puffs.
That must have been, because they serve lunch and breakfast in the
Right.
in the gym too, because there's always overflow from the cafeteria. So, some of the kids must sit on the bleachers and have their cereal in the morning.
There you go.
Yeah, so Riverview also is getting flooring done. That same flooring shipment just came in. So again, there are 2 main classrooms being done. The principal's office floor that has always been pushed off. And that's being done. And then the custodian hallway is being done for the flooring. Helen Thompson, heat pumps. We are actually, it is this project this year so far has gone much smoother than last year's heat pump project.
Nice.
So, which is great. They were able to rip out the 11 heat pumps in 3 days, get them all done. And it took them 2 days to install the new ones in. So the new ones are already installed. They measured for tie-ins for ductwork. That's all measured. Next week, they'll do the final ductwork and electrical hookups, and they'll be done. Just a matter of putting ceiling tiles back and 100% complete. So it's gone very quick. And like I said, so far, very smooth. We've not had to shut the whole system down, which we did last year, which meant there was no AC, no ventilation, nothing for a full week. So we didn't have to do that this year over there. So it's been great. And Pittston, not a lot is being done over at Pittston other than we've had some classroom moves, so some furniture. We didn't anticipate on needing some chairs, but we had to order some chairs. So just little stuff like that. We need to, this is something that just came up today. There's a fire panel issue with the fire panel. It keeps testing in fault. It drives the front office crazy because the alarm goes off every like 15 to 20 minutes in the just the main office, the beeping because there's trouble on the panel. It's working, but there's an issue with the ground fault and it will not clear. So we just found out today. We're hoping to get it on a warranty because it went in when we did the modulars. So there's it probably still will fall under a warranty. So hopefully there'll be no cost to us. But it's just one of those things, they have to order a whole new fire panel and install a whole new fire. So, yep.
Two things.
Sure.
One, the exterior doors. If
Yes.
you could talk about that.
Yep.
And then a question about paving. Where do we stand with some of the paving?
I was gonna ask that.
Again, we have
So
some
I was
extra,
waiting.
we have some extra money in our federal grant
Oh.
that you have
Right.
access to, so
Right.
that needs to be
So-
used by the end of September as well.
Right, so the fire doors, with so many projects going on, the doors will be done during the start of school.
At which building is that?
It's like LER needs them, Riverview.
Oh, a
needs
couple of
Yeah,
them.
it's-
Gotcha.
it's- I think this batch was LER in middle school, I have to double
Okay.
check, but I think so. So yeah, just with so many projects going on, I already have the quotes, they've been updated, because we originally were looking at more money in the budget to do them, so we had to back some out. So I just can't get as many doors done at once. But those will be done, during the start of school. None of them will affect, any school operations at all, so, which is perfect. So we'll be all set there. And yes, paving, we had taken all of the paving money out of the budget because we were hoping to get some funding.
Yeah.
And we did. So Pat was able to, I don't know, somehow work some magic and find some paving.
It's federal dollars, we have some
Right,
money left over in
federal
our
dollars.
ARP.
So yeah, so
I just gave him the amount, he has to decide, hopefully it's.
Can we influence you?
Yeah.
Right. I
So
know.
we need to do some patching at the middle school, just a small section. So I'm hoping just to be able to tie, the problem with paving, they wanna make sure they can get it all done in a day or two.
Right.
And just do it instead of multiple little pieces.
Yeah.
So if I can just split it between two schools that are close together, if we do a patch at the middle school, the rest can be patching done at the high school. The issue with the large student parking lot at the high school, it's way beyond just a paving repair.
Yeah.
That's the
it
hard
is.
piece.
Yeah.
It's beyond what we can do, but there are sections in the parking lot and areas that we can do some overlay patching. And that's, the thought is whatever's left over that we don't do at the middle school, we will do the patching at the high school in spots that we know we can patch, that'll hold together for the next couple of years.
Like the worst of it down in the student parking lot area.
We will, what we can't patch in with the paving, we will fill in and roll with reclaim. Is the thought. The hard piece with that parking lot, so much water funnels down it that every time we put something, it washes away within a couple months. And especially the winter time, once we start plowing, it gets pushed down to the bottom. And so that's the hard part with that parking lot. Yeah. So yeah. Sorry to say, next budget season, we are going to have to.
We have to,
At
right?
something.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
We definitely have to.
What is the dollar amount that he's got for paving? Just curious.
I think about 22,000,
I
right?
think it was 20, I think it was 22.
Yeah, so
Yep.
at least a good dent then.
Remind me, if we were so fortunate as to get a new high school, how many years is that?
About 10.
Oh, so we would definitely need it.
We need to fix it first, yeah.
If you were on the first
If we were
round,
on the list,
right?
If
right.
the best,
I mean, there's
best
a list
case.
like 1 to 7, usually the top 7 schools roughly, but it all depends how much money they have. And so if you're in the first round, first 1 or 2, you know, you're still looking at about 10 years, 8 years out. So if you're at the latter part, you know, it could be 14 years, 15 years.
Unfortunately, we
We'll just remain
We don't
hopeful
make
and
it.
do our best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Right.
I mean, there's just a lot of little things going on. Every year, I think we bite off a little more than we can chew, like district wise for all of district employees. We never seem to get all the projects we want done. But we do the best. We do the best we can. I was working on fields today at the ball field, trying to put new infill in and get that. So it's not full of weeds. So it's just things like that. We're always jumping from one project to the other. So
Time do you start your day
6,
and end your day? You're still on the clock, right?
yeah, whenever I end. Everybody else leaves and I'm still out there. That's usually what it is.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, nobody's around.
They all left you.
Yeah, and I look at my phone, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I should get going. And I have about 10 calls from my wife.
Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
Yeah.
Well, Gabe, thank you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You
No problem.
work really hard. You work really smart.
Well, you know, I mean, I have one child that's made their way through this district and I have another one in the district, so. You know, I mean, it's all about family, we're all family here, so.
This is one big
Right, I work
family.
here.
We are very fortunate. Yeah. Thank you. Any questions for Gabe? Anybody?
Just don't add any more projects.
No, no.
I kind of like that you know, plan big, dream big, and right, I mean, it's how projects
We
happen.
do, and
It's snowball.
like I said, the painting at LER, I walked in and they had everything primed out and Larry, he's the new head custodian there this year. And I'm like, Larry, how are we gonna get all this painting finished? And he's like, we'll get it done, we'll get it done. So that's what, I sent an extra person there today and tomorrow to help him out. So hopefully we can get it pushed out and done. Because yes, teachers are coming through the
Get
door, they
ready,
wanna get in
yeah.
their classrooms.
And their classrooms have a lot of things.
Right, in elementary
Yes.
schools.
Yes.
And there's been a couple moves here and there at some of the different schools, so getting those teachers into their new classrooms, get their classrooms set up. So it's always the beginning of August, you know, we we think the start of school is the end, but everyone's in here at the beginning of August.
Right.
And it's the same. My wife's like, can I get in my room? Can I get in my room? Not yet, stay home.
No special treatment.
Members of our custodial staff, of course, are also trying to get some vacation time in, just like. you know,
Exactly.
So
Right.
it's hard,
Sure.
it's hard.
Yeah. Well, good,
Good.
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
You can go home before Amber
We'll send you
starts
out,
calling you
right?
again.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Dave.
Yep, not a problem.
Appreciate it. Okay. Set the substitute teacher rates.
Yes, we try to do that every year. I provided in your packet a summary. The change on the sheet from the 23-24 year, and it should say 24-25 up top.
Yep.
So my apologies for not catching that.
Yeah, but it is on the.
Yep. So the change is that we increased the daily rate by $5. So we went from 125 to 130 for daily uncertified. And then for long-term subs, 155 to 160. The certified and the nurses sub, those are based on bachelor's 0. So for nurses, just to be clear, we're looking at them receiving this daily rate, even if it's just for one day. It's not a long-term sub position, because nurses can go elsewhere in their profession and make a lot more than $130 a day. So we
Oh my
can't
gosh, yes.
attract nurses. So we are recommending that the nurse sub be paid differently. The other change that we would like to make is with the ed tech sub. The ed tech sub, historically, they have been paid the base rate of an ed tech 1. So whatever pay an ed tech 1 with 0 experience would get, and you just can't attract people. People won't come for $16 an hour. So this works out to be $18.57. I know it's more than what we might be paying someone who is an ed tech 1, but these individuals are not accessing insurance. Right, so there are a lot more benefits, so it actually makes their overall total daily rate more than what this is, so. Check.
I don't understand at the top where it's the daily uncertified and the daily certified teachers are the same amount? Is that
Yes.
a mistake or is that
No.
real?
That's the same. It's just down below. We differentiate. So on Andrea's form, she just likes to identify them separately. That's all. But the rate's the same.
I mean, are we gonna be attracting people with 1850 or should that be higher?
Well, it's
1850s at McDonald's right now.
Well, it's $130 a day, which would match what we're paying for someone going in for a teacher position. And it's a
Right.
competitive number.
Okay. I mean, if you said it's competitive, then that's not bad. So,
Yeah, I mean, it is competitive to what other school districts are paying in this area.
yeah,
And it's $5 increase in what it was last year.
that's.
But if it proves to be a challenge, I will be back.
Okay.
Yeah. So I am
You need
requesting that the board approve these rates.
Motion to approve, so moved by Diane,
Second.
second by Sean. Any further questions, comments? All those in favor? You guys are all motion happy. I love that.
All right, part 2 is on the back page.
Yep.
We have tutors.
Yep.
Set the tutor rate, also I increased these $5 an hour. So they were 30 and 40, I'm recommending 35.
So move down tutor rates.
Motion by Alyssa,
Second.
second by Jack. Questions are, oh, sorry, Molly.
Now we're all.
Gotta keep my head pivoting. All those in favor?
Great, thank you. All right, and then the last one,
Watch
you
it for
don't
you,
have
Molly.
any information on this, this just came to me later in the day. But again, PLCSS, that's our certification committee. And we are required by law, it kind of dictates the type of supports that we need to provide for our new staff. And so what we are currently paying individuals who are serving as mentors for new staff. Right now, we are paying anyone who is an experienced teacher or they are working with someone who's a second year mentor, we're paying $250, period. And for someone per per teacher that they work with. And for someone who is working with a first-year teacher, like right out of college, with little experience, we're paying them $500 for the year. And so there's a lot of work that they have to do, including weekly meetings. They have to complete observations. They have a completion report at one point that they have to write. So the members of the committee and the leadership of the committee, Mary Whitten, they are recommending and proposing that we increase all the mentor stipends at $500 versus differentiating between the $250. And the total cost for that type of increase, it's going to vary every year depending how many new staff we have. But the increase over what we already estimated in the budget is about $2,250. So it's not really that much. And that is my recommendation, that we make the mentor stipends $500 across the board.
A quick question, it's probably a dumb question. A mentor and the new teacher are in the same building or not necessarily?
We hope that they're in the same building, but if we can't get enough mentors within a building, sometimes they have to have a mentor from a separate building, a different building. So it's not a stupid question at all.
I would motion that we do increase that, the mentor stipend, from $250 a year to $500.
Second.
We are also out of the loop here with the meetings. We're fighting over the motion.
Motion happy.
Yeah.
All right. All those in favor? Let the yeses roll in. Opposed? One opposed.
Can I make a comment about that or is it too late?
You can make a
The
comment.
importance of a mentor is huge because the dropout rate for new teachers, and I don't know the current
Yes.
statistic, but it's really big. And if you throw a brand new teacher in a classroom and they don't have someone that they can go to and trust that that's not going to get back to the principal, that they need this
Right.
help or they need this support. Mentors are critical in this profession and there's evidence to support the difference that they make in retaining your teachers.
Okay,
Great, thank you.
sure. Old business, none. My report is that we will be having a summer workshop on August 19th here in this room from 4 to 8 p.m. and we will feed you something delicious.
I don't know what yet, but we'll feed you something.
Right.
And it won't be pizza.
Won't be
Right.
pizza, and if there are any dietary restrictions, please let us know a week before.
What is the time again?
So the top,
Pardon me?
4 to 8.
4 to 8 on the 19th.
The topic, we discussed this back in the spring. We're bringing the final recommendation to you for the strategic plan. So it'll be an opportunity for you to hear what we're recommending, think about it, give some feedback. So we'll spend a lot of time on the strategic plan. We also want to spend some time talking about opportunity culture, that public impact that Angela has talked about. And that particular initiative, we feel like we could spend a little more time. It's about teaming, right? And redesigning how we support our staff. It's designed to get at teacher retention. And at the same time, it increases student performance, right? Academically, there's great growth. So we want to spend a little time on that, just to make sure that you are all well versed in what that is. So that if people are talking about it, you know exactly what they're talking about, because we're entering into year 2, and it will be another year out for implementation. So
Will there be any strategic listening in that portion or just going over the strategic plan?
strategic listening.
Will we be
and-
listening to any of the information that Angela collected with people that were interviewed?
You know, I don't know right now. We have been spending our time on many things, but we have an administrative workshop Monday and Tuesday. And so we've been preparing for the
That's fine.
workshop in which we're doing this with our administrators, going through it, getting some more comments. So I'm not sure if we're going to incorporate
Yeah.
any of those excerpts or not.
It's just my curiosity, so it's,
We might.
it's early, yeah,
Yeah.
didn't know if it was on the tip of your tongue.
All right. Superintendent's report.
So yes, I wanted to make sure that you all knew, administrators, we already met once in June to begin preparing for this next school year. The work that we have to do has grown. It used to be at one time we'd do a day and a half maybe. So we're up to 3 full days. So we did a day in June and we're going to be getting together on Monday and Tuesday next week. We'll be here. We're spending a lot of time talking about our strategic plan, but not just the plan by itself. It's really thinking about the things that we do, the initiatives that we have, how does it all tie in to achieve what we heard from our community. So it should be 2 great days of learning. I wanted to make sure that it was on your radar that as we enter into this next year, you have 3 contracts that will have to be negotiated. So you have your ed tech and your administrative assistant contract. You have your administrator's contract, and you have bus drivers, custodians, and food service. And so we're hoping that we can merge that into one contract. So I wanted to put that on your radar. I wanted to ask, September 5th is the next school board meeting. It's the first week of school. Last year, we allowed administrators to not attend, given that they're attending open houses that night and they're that week. And so I just wanted to check with you. Is that okay? If administrators do not attend that particular meeting, unless we need them here for something specific, of course.
There won't be much to tell by that point anyway.
Yeah. Right, the following month, they'll be able to kind of fill you in. Plus, they do newsletters and you receive
Yes.
copies of newsletters, so you have an
Yes, we
opportunity
do.
to see what it is that they're doing.
Yep.
Then finally, I do want to update you on staff vacancies. I want you to know where things stand. So at the high school, we still have a chemistry teacher position open. Special education, we have a resource room with a literacy focus position open. At the middle school, we have an interventionist English language arts position open. We have 2 special ed teacher positions open, one with a math focus and one with literacy, also at the middle school. We're getting really nervous about the middle school. So I will let you know, one thing that we've decided to do when we begin advertising today is that we've advertised for 4 ed tech 3s. 2 for the math focus, 2 for the literacy focus. Just thinking we might attract different individuals who are interested in doing that work but don't have a teacher's certificate. So we'll see. I mean, certainly our preference is to have a certified teacher, but if we can't, then having an ed tech 3, some of our ed tech 3s are just phenomenal. You know, they come to us with such skill. So we're doing everything we can. Sarah is being as creative as she possibly can be. I will come back to Sarah in a moment. Let's see, we still have the inclusion specialist position at the elementary school we haven't filled, and we still do not have a teacher for our autism program at Helen Thompson. We have, let's see, an ed tech 3 position in literacy at LER. We have 3 positions available in special education for ed tech 3. Ed tech 2, we have 4 positions open for special ed. We have speech language pathologist. We have a technology technician. We have 2 drivers, bus drivers, a custodian, second shift. We have not received any applicants for a second shift custodian there. And then we just have JV boys basketball coach and drama club advisor. Now some of these, we might have someone in the wings, like I think I mentioned today that I had an interview with video production. So we'll see, that may move forward. We have a couple other people that we're interviewing. Sarah, I asked Sarah to kind of fill me in on what she's been doing. She has, when she wrote this note, it may have changed, she's already interviewed 53 candidates for positions. Last year by this time, they had done 15. And 26 by the start of the school, and she's already done 53, and it's the beginning of August. They are interviewing anyone and everyone who's interested. Now, there's some that we have said no. Okay, I don't want you to think we have said yes to everyone. We have not. But we've also had some people that have said no to us, and for some, it's been pay. All right, so I've asked her to kind of track that. I know of 6 people, 4 ed techs and 2 teachers who declined due to pay. So that's something for us to consider, for you to consider as you enter or think about entering into negotiations. So we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of vacancies. We continue to advertise. We've been putting it out on Facebook, social media, trying to really push the word. I spoke to someone today who saw a job on Indeed from us. So, you know, we're trying to use all of our advertising options that are available to us to try to get the word out. But certainly I would encourage you, people that you know, mention to them that we're looking, and it's a great place to work.
Do we have this electronically that we could share?
Martha has it.
Okay.
I can, and she shares it, she posts it on
She does do-
Facebook.
And she
Okay.
does send us an email with local.
Not with this
um,
one, with all of them, like, that's what I'm
Right, if we
thinking.
could have a copy of that, that
Yeah,
would be great, because we do get emails that refer to job postings, but if we could get the one,
Just this one.
yeah. That would be great.
Understanding,
It'll
Then it'll change.
it changes every hour
Oh, totally.
in some cases, so,
Yeah.
all right.
So use it quickly.
Yeah, at least we get it out again for
Yeah.
you in another way.
Yeah, I would appreciate that.
I know, because Indeed is not cheap.
No.
No, it's not.
Wow.
And she is not in tomorrow, so it won't be
No
till next
rush,
week.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Maybe it'll be a shorter list.
Maybe.
So is it okay, Pat, if we do get the, one sheeter that we can throw up on Facebook, just for
Sure.
networking purposes? Okay.
Whatever we send you in that regard, yeah, that is absolutely public information, and you may share it freely.
Just don't get into any battles with people on Facebook. Just post it and walk away.
I say anything I
Shut off
tell you.
comments.
Yeah.
It's you, I'm telling, man. I know you.
So that's all I have.
Alrighty. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming in the summer. Appreciate it. Good to see all of you. I apologize that we had to pause our meetings at all, but we're gonna keep working on respect publicly and from the public and within. So thanks for coming in. Enjoy the rest of your lunch. Don't need one. We're all done now.
Just adjourn. Yep.
We're all done now.